Hello and welcome to the next episode of Clock Out the Vicarious Life. We have today Jerrod Hardy. He's a retired law enforcement officer turned full-time traveling entrepreneur, podcast host, and author. He is retired and travels the world with his wife in their Airstream. Hello, Jerrod. Welcome.
Thanks, Tracy. It's an honor to be here with you. And I always love intros. I think we should require people's moms to write all their intros.
How would your mom introduce you?
She would say stuff like that. I tried to, what would my mom say? She would say it the best. But then she would also probably segue into, well, you should have seen this one time. You know, he was this kind of a kid. Because she'd want to balance out that you're not perfect.
Sure.
You know,
but
good
she
parenting there. Yeah, she's great.
That's awesome. That's a good point. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe we'll just do some sort of a content based on having people share their mom's introduction.
Yeah, a whole episode of moms bragging about kids.
Yeah. So, Jerrod, it is so funny that we come and cross paths at this point in our lives via podcast, because although you're not here in Butte like I currently am, you were born in Butte. Tell me about that. Where'd you come from? Tell me about law enforcement. Let's hear some stories.
Yeah, so I was born in Butte. My parents were real young when they had me. My mom was 17 and my dad was 19. And this was, back in the early 70s. And, young parents at that time didn't have a whole lot of options. There's kind of, you're getting thrown adult life real quick at a young age there. So they, my dad joined the Air Force, and we raised our family moving around. My brother and my sister came along later, and it was the five of us, but we always came back to Butte, every couple of years to check in with family and stuff. So it's always been a very special place to us. And then I was able to move down there after I got out of the military and spent 4 years there. I went back to college to see if I liked it anymore the second time. So I went to Montana Tech for a year, and I didn't like it any better. And then I was fortunate enough to get hired with the police department there and spent the first 4 years of my law enforcement career running around the streets of Butte.
Fabulous. And you said you had a stint in the military. What branch did you serve?
I did Air Force, 4 years as well.
Very cool. Yeah. Thanks for your service. Beautiful.
Sure.
They have the best uniforms too. Anytime I see their uniforms, I'm like, man, they just shine.
Yeah, it's a good quality of life for the military. And they have, what I think is a lot of the most translatable skills to civilian world. So It works very well.
Yeah. And is that where you decided to go into law enforcement? Did that come from your military career?
It was. Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So you were a police officer in beautiful Butte, Montana for 4 years. And where did you go from there? Did you get married in that time frame? Or?
We did. Yeah, we got married, started our family in Butte. So my two oldest kids were both born in Butte. And then honestly, it was just tough to make a living up there. Montana wages kind of are behind a lot of other states. And we had opportunity to be close to my wife's side of the family. So grandparents were around the kids, but have a much different financial outlook. So we ended up moving to northern Colorado and Fort Collins.
Okay. Very cool.
And that's where the story goes. So we stayed there for 21 years. We finished our careers there. We owned some businesses, some properties, and then we sold it all in 2021 and hit the road. Now we're full-time traveling.
Okay. Well, let's break that story down a little bit for listeners, because how old are you right now? If you're born in the 70s, I'm going to put you at about 40, 41, 42?
Just turned 50.
50? You're kidding me. You don't look a day past 32.
Thanks. I see my mom would tell you to say that too.
There it is. Yes. And my mom told me to make sure you go young on age. So 50, incredible. And you've essentially been retired since 21?
No, I left in 2018. So that's a whole nother story. So in law enforcement, I love the career and I love the profession, but I saw what it did to people that stayed too long, right? Like it's a very stressful job. You're dealing with a lot of negativity. It's a lot of carrying other people's emotions while trying to process your own, right? And I saw just too many people that stayed like 25, 30, 35 years. And then when they did get to retire, their zest for life was gone. They were just almost just going through the motions of life. So my wife and I had conversation. We're going to do 20 years, and no matter what our financial situation was, barring like a drastic medical deal, it was our job to set ourselves up to go do something else.
Wow. So you guys had that forethought that far in advance. I mean, just prepared no matter what.
Yeah, we were really big on reinventing ourselves. And, if life is an 80-year journey, you get like 4 20-year chapters, right? Like the first 20, you're kind of being raised and going to school. Then you got another 20 to go make money and set yourself up. And then I don't know what the last 40 looks like, right? Sometimes you get a dealt a bad hand, you get a disease or something, it cuts short. And we didn't want to take any of that for granted. So when we say retired, Colorado's 401k, so no pension. So we walked away from guaranteed money and the security of every other week paychecks and benefits.
Sure.
And that money's all invested for future Jerrod and Andrea.
Yeah.
So we knew we're going to walk away from this, but we just believe we can reinvent stuff. Sure. So we had owned a mixed martial arts gym at the time. So we put heavily into our gym and built that business. And then we just kind of started looking like, what is it we want to do? And we wrote a book, started a podcast, and that's kind of where we're at now.
So you're a serial entrepreneur for sure. You got you're dabbling in a little bit of this, dabbling in a little bit of that. So you've got a gym. Was your wife involved in the gym, or was she an employee for 401k too, or did she? How did that work?
No. She stayed at home. That was one of the reasons we moved to Colorado, is because when we first got down there in 2001, the economy was a little different than it is today, and it was a very good life. Like I could work full time as a police officer, and she could stay home with the kids, so we didn't have the daycare stuff. That was very important to us. She stayed at home. She worked some part-time stuff just to get out of the house and do things she enjoyed. But then she also started a personal training business towards the end of my police career. So she had that going kind of as her personal training and wellness was her focus. And I was running the gym and working with my partner there. And then we had a talk. And we went to this Stinking Rock up the Poudre River. If you're ever in Fort Collins, go up the Poudre Canyon. It's a beautiful area. The Poudre River runs right through it, mountainous. And we sat down on the Stinking Rock, and she told me she didn't think she was going to be happy when our youngest graduated and moved out. And she had an idea. And, I was a city kid. Most of my life, I grew up right outside of Washington, D.C. So I didn't enjoy camping. The most camping I did was in the military when they dropped you off in the woods and left you for a week.
Sure.
So I'd never camped. I'd never owned a pickup, never had a trailer. And at the Thinking Rock, she's like, I believe we should sell all our stuff and go travel on an RV.
Mm-hmm. I love your wife.
Yeah, it's a good one. So I was like, man, I don't know. So then I started watching all kinds of YouTube videos and stuff, because I literally, I swear to you, Tracy, I didn't even know how to back a trailer up. So I'm watching like all these videos and I have my son's, I found some old toys in his closet, and I'm like, got these little trucks and I'm backing up. So I'm like, okay, if I turn this way, the trailer goes that way. So when we literally say we had no idea, besides YouTube, I had never touched any of this stuff.
Okay. So it's her idea, and she just wants to sell everything. And at this point, you guys have rentals, I'm assuming. Yep. You guys had acquired a rental portfolio. What? Yep. And a lot of my listeners do the same thing, myself included. We have real estate. What made you decide to unload that rather than handing it off to be managed so you could keep the income?
COVID.
Oh, okay.
Just cut right to the chase. I mean, when people don't have to pay rent, it's a liability, right? Like if I have these things as an asset until I can't run them the way I want to run them. And we had a property in Myrtle Beach, so we had a beachfront property, and we were kind of tired of the storms. And I mean, and we were like, okay, would we, something you're big on, Tracy, is freedom.
Yes.
So part of our thought is we talked, okay, if we leave, but we have all these strings, are we really free?
Right.
Or are we still pulled back?
Mm-hmm.
And, the economy, like, if I'm being perfectly honest, we're selling stuff for way more than we bought it for because of the current state of the economy.
Mm-hmm.
And we're like, okay, at some point there's going to be a reset here. What's that going to look like for us? Do we just cash out?
Right.
And then we can always buy back in down the road. I think that's one of the big things for listeners is a decision you make today doesn't have to be permanent unless you make it permanent.
I love that. Oh my God.
Right?
So many people, when they're talking about big changes and they talk to people like you and I, they're like, oh my God, but they're so devastated by what could happen. And they think that they're permanently stuck wherever they move or whatever job they take or whatever opportunity that they reach out to. It's like, man, you can always go back, but I promise you, you won't. But you can pivot and go somewhere else. It's a stepping stone. It's always a stepping stone.
Right. And it just puts you in positions to meet different people or open new doors and find pathways. And, you know, like when I left police work, I was 40, like 44, 45, I think. I had other policemen betting, like literally telling me they were betting that I would be back within a year because that's what they had seen.
Yep.
And they weren't doing it with negativity. They weren't doing it because they didn't like me.
Sure.
It's just kind of what you're accustomed to, right? Minimize risk, be risk adverse at all cases. Yep. You got pension, you got security, you got paychecks, you got benefits. Stay here. What else can you find?
And you're good at it. Like, you know it. So,
right,
you know,
I've been
do
doing
what
it
you
for a
know.
long time.
You're good at it. How many times do you hear that? Oh gosh, why would you give that up? You're so good at it.
Right. and that was, man, I was like, there's more to life than the security of a paycheck every 2 weeks. There has to be.
Yeah.
So I want to go find out what else is out there for us.
Absolutely. So what have you discovered in the years that you've been first and most importantly, does your Airstream have a name?
Of course, the Queen.
The Queen. Okay.
Yeah.
So what has the Queen taught you and what kind of traveling? Where's some places you've been, some things that you've learned along the road?
Okay, so we've been on the road now for 2 years. June will be the end of our second year traveling full time. Last year we hit 21 states, which is a few too many. We decided it was a little too quick. So this year we stayed out west for the winter. So we've been in Arizona actually since November, traveling slowly around the state. What's the best thing I've learned? I'll tell you this, Tracy, and that's what I share with everybody. People are freaking good. There are a lot of good fucking people in the world. If you turn off the news, get out of the newspaper and go out and just meet some people, you're going to be shocked.
Oh boy.
And it's kind of like you were saying before the show, like we want the stories behind the stories and we don't want a lot of small talk on a podcast. Well, I feel like that is a camping circle.
Yeah. Right.
You're there. You don't have time for the small talk and whose yard's greener and the price of bread at the store. Like nobody cares because you're only going to see each other for about a week.
Yeah.
So your job is to figure out, okay, is this somebody I want to stay connected with through travel, or are we just not the same kind of people?
Yeah. And so are you meeting people along the way? I'm assuming, are you going into RV parks? Or are you like a BLM camper? What kind of places are you guys parked?
Yeah, we're boondockers. So we're right now, we've been out 20 days at a place called, moving around Mitri Lake area outside Yuma. Now we've campgrounds. We do state parks every now and then, but most of the time we're kind of out. And through social media, through the podcast, people will find us and meet up with us.
Okay. Will you define what boondocking is just for listeners that aren't quite sure?
It's like traditional camping, right? Like you go out, you get away, you have all your water, your power, you're not connected to anything. And you just have peace.
Yeah. Very good. So you are finding people so randomly, like myself, for example, we've got a Sprinter van. We're out traveling. So you're saying I just got back from Arizona, Utah, etc. So had we known each other prior, you would have extended the invite and said, "Oh, hey, we're camped here on BLM land. Stop by," and I would swing by, park there, hang out for a little while till I leave. That's kind of how you're living your life right now with the people that you meet. Yeah, is that right?
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, it's just amazing the people that are out in the world. And especially in the traveling life, kind of just saying like, wait a second, I want to find more. I want to get away from all the noise and because you find yourself.
Yes.
Right. Because the quiet, you get to find yourself a little bit. But then you also, when you start finding yourself, you're like, wait a second, I do want to be curious about other people. I don't want to just pass people all day, every day going to and from work from our neighborhoods, but never really knowing them. Like there's something to this.
I agree completely. I feel like when you slow down enough where, like you said, you get to know yourself, you get connected with yourself. When you solidify who you are and how you feel about yourself, the anxiety that you have about what others are thinking of you or what the situation is, that really kind of goes away because you're so sure and so confident and so comfortable, that's probably the best word, with yourself, that it enables you to genuinely stop being so self-centered with, oh, what are they thinking about me? Oh, what am I going to say next? And instead you can just truly connect with the other person and seek out what they're interested in and be curious, like you said.
Well, I think I 100% agree with all that. And I think simply it boils down to this. When you are out all by yourself, you realize nobody's fucking thinking about you.
Yes.
Right? All these days you worried about what Bill thought about you or what Mary thought about you or Joni or Tommy. None of them were thinking about you. Only you thought they were thinking about you because they were so worried thinking about what everybody's thinking about them that you never got to know each other.
Yes, I know.
Right? And I think
isolate.
Yeah, so you get out here and you find yourself and you're like, man, none of them people were worried about what I was doing. Only I was worried about what they thought about it.
Absolutely. When did you wake up to all of this per se? Were you always kind of an aware person?
Let me tell you, I'm going to go all the way back for you on this. This is kind of my whole story. So, my mom was 16 when she found out she was pregnant with me. And, there's a lot of options when you're 16, what you're going to do with a child. And the fact that she kept me has been the purpose I live my life with every day. I remember my favoriteest birthday was when I was a little kid and I was in this room and I had like 5 cakes and I remember looking out the windows and there was the fire trucks that would go by, and for my whole younger life, I was like, man, that's the best birthday ever. It wasn't until I got to be an adult that I actually asked my mom, I was like, hey, why did I have 5 cakes on my birthday again? Like I don't know the story. And she's like, well, you were in high school with me. She was taking me to her GED classes. Oh. And all the cakes were because all the other single moms also made me cakes.
Oh.
And so I've known, Tracy, since I was little, that my mom's life was drastically different by keeping me.
Yes.
So it is my purpose, if you will, my responsibility that I need to live my life every day with all the opportunity and abundance I can, so that at the end of her life, she never, ever wonders, was it the right choice? Because I get to do so many things that she didn't get to do because she chose to keep me.
Yes. That is
right. So that's beautiful. Kind of where I go all the way back to being aware. And it's weird. Like I started having these thoughts when I was like 4 years old. And I remember there was some stuff that happened in our family, but I just remember like, okay, my job is to do all the things.
Yeah.
To try all the things and then tell my mom about it.
That's goosebumps. I'm gonna play this back to my kids. I was a young mom too, so I'm gonna play this to my kids and be like, listen up, girls, go do something with yourself.
I tell you what, there's nothing greater, right? There's nothing greater. And I think that if you're listening to your show and you're about purpose and people live in purpose, the greatest purpose when you realize that when you live very intentionally, when you live with purpose in your life, you inspire others to do it.
Yes, absolutely.
And you get to share it.
Yes. And joy, like that has been reintroduced to your inner child per se. I tell people it's interesting how when you get older, you look back and you repeat and you come back to your roots of who you were as a child, whether like for me, it's exploring, wandering, being a gypsy, just kind of a free spirit.
Love it.
And laughing. And oh my gosh, like I never stopped talking. I was just a blah, 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 and talk to anybody and everybody. And as you get older and you go through school and society starts to put all these things on you and these rules and these expectations, you start to, you quiet yourself and you put yourself in this little shell. And, as you start to awaken again or become aware of all these things and you are reintroduced to your true self, you start to shine again and that joy comes out. And that has been my biggest observation over the past 3 months since I've kind of given up I call it the hustle culture, since I've given that up and decided I've learned to meditate. I've learned to, I'm journaling. I'm doing all of the things to just get to know myself again. And the biggest thing that I've observed is the happiness in my family. My husband kind of randomly giggles and laughs. He's way more playful because I'm more playful and I'm more joyous. Yeah. And my daughters are around me and they're just so much higher and so much happier and just light. Everybody feels so light and we're not doing anything. We're just same routine. It's just dinner. It's just driving. It's just whatever, but everybody's happier. And that in itself is a gift to the rest of the world because like you said, it's inspirational. It's contagious. It's fulfilling for others.
Just like you said, it's light.
Yes.
Right. I forget who, there was a quote I read somewhere when somebody was about to pass away and it was a real famous person and they were like, you know, what are you thinking? And they literally said like, I thought life would be more fun. Mm-hmm. Right. And I think about that. Just like you said, when you're a kid, you're fun. Everything's new. And then as we get in an adult stage, we're only allowed to have fun on vacations 2 weeks a year.
Yep.
Right. No, man, life is short. There's so much opportunity out here. And when you become intentional, right? Like I'm intentional. I want to protect my space. I want to really figure out who I am so that I can better show up in the world.
Right.
You find other people are doing the same thing. You start attracting people at that same wavelength, right?
Yes.
And which in turn gives you the happiness and the joy you're seeking because now you're bringing in the people that are also chasing that.
Right. And you become intolerant of those that are not that way. And not intolerant in a negative way. It's just kind of like, I'm good. I'm going to just drift this other direction. Yeah.
And this lifestyle allows it, right? Like this lifestyle literally allows us to be like, okay, we got some neighbors and we're not vibing, but cool, we're moving on tomorrow anyhow. So you hitch up, you move and find more people or just go by yourself for a while. Right.
Yeah, absolutely. The social aspect is something that I have not really considered with the traveling aspect. I'm new. My husband and I are definitely going to be van lifing it once youngest daughter is out of high school, just to be able to travel and see different things and just experience. But I have not thought about the social aspect of that. So that's interesting that you say that you randomly meet up with people and make friends along the way, because when I grew up camping, which you didn't, so it's a different experience. It was, you went out with your same people every time and it was kind of to get away from people and to isolate. So I've got to reprocess what that vision looks like to be able to meet people while camping, not just while in town or visiting a new community. It's interesting.
Yeah, that first year, that was one of the big takeaways we had. It was about 3 or 4 months in, we were lonely. We're like, gosh, this is actually kind of lonely. Like I love my wife and, living in 200 square feet of house. Sure. You really get to know each other and you got to face problems because there's no getting away or putting off conversations that need to be had, which is great for your relationship. But yeah, there's social side to everything. And we're amazed. You just come across I would tell you one thing that surprises me is how creative the people are on the road. Ooh. I've met more authors, more musicians, more YouTubers, like people that are just really in the artsy stuff. Yeah. I think it's because when you get out here, you have the freedom. Yes. And so many less responsibilities of it being in a traditional house to really explore it and the time to do it.
Yes. And the quiet. I just got back from my week-long trip in, basically isolation outside of, visiting people in the gas stations and whatever. Other than that, I was by myself in my van, and the inspiration, the creativity, I mean, it's coming out my ears, my pores in every direction because you're by yourself and that noise isn't distracting you. You can really get down deep in your soul and allow for, like, I don't know, I'm a believer that, creativity flows in through another source, right? The universe, sure. Your higher self, whatever it may be. And I think that creative spirit is just able to be connected a lot better when it's quiet, away from your everyday responsibilities and the noisiness of the world.
Yeah, and I don't want people to think like van life or full-time travel has no responsibilities. You have responsibilities. You're trading out some for others.
Sure.
but you have a lot more control over them.
Yeah. What kind of responsibilities did you add on that you didn't have when you were a traditional liver?
Well, you gotta okay, do I have enough water? Do we have water? Do we need to go fill up? What are our tanks like? Do I have enough gas? Like, what's the route we're taking going to look like? What's the weather? You become more in tune to a lot of things.
Sure.
That really don't apply to it. The house, you just flip a switch, you got plenty of electricity. You turn on the tap, you got plenty of water. Mm-hmm. Oh, it's going to snow, you just stay inside. Whereas here, you're like, oh shit, we got to pack up and get going. We don't want to be caught in the snow.
Yeah.
But you can do it in such a condensed period of time. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have to spend all day working to pay for certain things, and that's the big thing for us too, is we lived a good life being debt free. So we had the freedom to not owe people stuff, so we could make leaps that scared a lot of people, because we had the safety of like, okay, well, we'll just live on less for a few months if that's what it takes until we figure it out.
Yeah. That's the debt-free component is the hardest piece of advice or inspiration that I have to talk with people about, that ask, that try to replicate, because that's what happens. People are going to meet you, they're going to hear your story, and they're like, well, I want to do what he does. Well, how did he get debt free? Well, you started when you were, in a traditional job. Your route is just different. Uh-huh. The path that you take is different. For the people that are strapped down in debt, those are the people that I have the hardest time giving good advice to, that are in their most of them 40s, close to my age. And they're like, well, you're debt free because we are too, except for our properties, some of our properties that are producing income, whatever. Right. And that's the advice that I struggle with at 40, because they want to make these changes like you and I are able to do right now, but they aren't debt free. And that is, gosh, I just preach to young people from day one, don't go into debt if you don't need to. Don't go to college if you don't have to. The truck, the big expensive truck, it's going to run the same as an old ugly vehicle, whatever. Yeah. And I've got a conversation with a friend of mine scheduled for coffee, that exact question. He's like, how do I simplify my life? And that's my thought is get rid of your debt. And he cannot wrap his head around how he gets rid of his debt. And I'm like, sell the trailer, sell the truck. Yeah. Don't have the things, but it's a different lifestyle, being minimalist, not giving in to consumerism, to just all the things. How does that feel?
And I think it's right. I think it goes to comparison, right? Once we shake the comparison and the ego side of things, like I have to do certain things to look a certain way, I have to dress a certain way, I have to have a certain vehicle. Once we get rid of the ego, and I truly believe once you get rid of that and you realize nobody's actually judging you and thinking about you because they're so worried about themselves.
Yep.
Or two, if they are, who cares? They're probably not in your circle anyhow.
Yep. And their gut feeling they have to do. That's something in them that you can't fix.
Then you go, right? Then one of the things you want to talk about is how we make money. We've done seasonal jobs in the 2 years we've been out here. Mm-hmm. One, because I like learning.
Sure.
Two, I like, new experience and meeting people, kind of that social stuff. And three, if I can make a little money being somewhere I want to be and not use my money, that's a win.
Absolutely.
So here, I'll tell you this story. So I love baseball. St. Louis Cardinals are my favorite team. Okay. I knew we were going to go to Florida our first winter. So I just Googled St. Louis Cardinals spring training, right? I know they go to Florida for baseball. I cold emailed the stadium, cold called the general manager. I interviewed for my wife and I. So last spring, not this one, but the year before, we spent part of our spring working St. Louis Cardinals baseball.
What an experience, right?
Right. Yeah. And people are like, well, how much did you make? I made $12 an hour. Perfect. Way less than I've ever made in my adult life. But guess what? Who cares? Yeah. It was $12 more than I was making. And I had fun doing it. I learned some stuff. I met some people. And now I have another story. Dude, that, I can tell my grandkids whenever we have them someday. Yeah. We work baseball at spring training.
Yeah. Yeah. That's exactly. Gosh, I can't remember who said it, but they talked about if you want to upgrade your life, maybe it was Jay Shetty. I can't remember. I read a lot of books, but talks about if you want to be somebody that is inspirational or that is doing cool things in life, but you don't have a very interesting life, how do you, people like try to find creative ways to make themselves look more interesting. It's like, no, just be more interesting, create more experiences in your life. It's like so simple.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
they look at other people and they're like, well, I actually heard somebody say like they are lucky to have been a victim of crime because they have this really awesome story to tell. And it's like, no,
Cop
like
out.
Go create a life by involving yourself in experiences. Like you're going to gain, you grow. I mean, if you are not growing and expanding as a person and that's through experience, through learning, through different people and expanding your network, then really you're constricting. I mean, if you're not doing this, then the pressures of the world are going to be pushing back down and you're getting smaller. So fill your life with these experiences. And like, how cool is that? If you like baseball, go see the inner workings of the system, like, and get paid for it.
Yeah. And I'm still in Florida, which beats shoveling snow.
Yes.
Yeah. And I think that's the thing though, right? Like if we remove the ego of how we make our money and we truly were just like, I just want to make money to be happy. One, I think a couple of things would happen. One, we'd realize we're happy with way less than we think we are. And two, we'd realize we don't have to work as much.
No.
We could literally work about half the time and double our happiness.
Yes. Yes.
Right.
Have you read The Illusion of Money by Kyle Cease yet?
Yep.
Life-changing. Just the perspective on money, like chasing your entire world. Everything you do is for money, but instead, if you're doing what your calling in life is, which you are so, it's awesome that you know your purpose. It's just very simply to enjoy and to be full of experiences. If you chase that, the resources, they come. They present themselves. You don't have to work for money. It lands in your lap because you're doing.
Yeah, I just had that talk with my youngest daughter. She's 19. She just she bought a van, so she's going into van life as well. Cool. And I told her, like, you don't go outside and go, where's my next breath going to come from? Oh my God, I got to find my next. You just think it's going to happen.
Yeah.
So what if you thought about money that way? Like, you don't hold it so tight you can't get more. You just realize, like, if I'm smart with what I have, I will find more.
Yeah. It flows. It's a resource. It just flows in and out, in and out.
And the people that have the least usually hold on to it the hardest, right? Like they're the ones that are so worried about where it's going to come from, or they just spend frivolously, right? Like there's plenty. And if you don't need much, and that's the biggest thing for us is we're able to make this switch to full-time traveling because we're debt-free and we pare down what our actually monthly costs are. So we need way less income to have a much happier life.
Yes. Yeah. And the attachment factor that comes with that too, being willing to detach from things, obviously, so that you can travel around. I know so many people too that, I mean, they just have so much stuff because whether it be attachment because they, the status of it, but a lot of it's the emotional attachment to it too. And they just can't let go of things. I mean, oh my gosh, how many people that I know through real estate that have to clean out 3 and 4 generations of stuff. And it's so heavy and it ties you down so much. But the second that you let go and then your hands are open to receive experiences and resources and things that can come to you naturally that will enhance your life instead of weighing you down by having, right?
Yeah, for sure. And I think I got to share, like, if people are listening in your community and are like, man, I just don't know what my purpose is. I don't know what I want to do next. That's okay too. Because here, I'll tell you, I had fulfilled most of the things I wanted to accomplish in my life. I was very like, okay, I'm good. Like I had this career, I've done MMA, I got a gym, like I'm having a good time. But when my wife said she wanted more, and this was her dream, sometimes we get an idea that our purpose, what we're going to do has to be our idea. Sure. Sometimes it's just participate in somebody else's.
Yeah.
Right. And by following her dream, like saying, yeah, let's follow your dream. I don't know.
Yeah.
I've discovered a whole new side of me. Yeah. Right. And I think that's a great takeaway for people is if you're in a marriage, you're in a group and you're not sure what your next step is.
Yeah.
Tag along with somebody else that's moving somewhere.
Yeah.
Right? Moving in a direction. And maybe their direction isn't exactly where you want to go, but it'll open up a door, or it'll inspire you, or it'll show you like, well, wait a minute, maybe I do like this.
Yeah. And you're gaining an experience. All experiences are going to grow you, whether it's a good experience or a bad experience, because you're growing because it fulfills you, or you're growing because you're learning something from whatever that experience was. I think about your daughter going into van life, for example. It's not for everybody. I honestly don't think it's going to be for me. I don't know. We'll see. Not attaching to that and being able to just flow through the next thing, no matter what. You're going to learn, you're going to see new things, you're going to pick up new experiences, and you're going to be better for when the next thing that approaches that does interest you, or that you want to do, or, whatever. You've got so much more strength. You've got a better base. You've got a better foundation. You've met more people, and it'll be maybe a more enjoyable experience. Just never say no to opportunity. Just do.
Yeah.
Go.
You got to answer the door when it's knocking, right?
Yes, absolutely. Oh my gosh, I love it. What are your other kids doing? Because you got 2?
3. So our oldest. So it's funny. So here's a story for you. So everybody, when we sold our stuff and left, they're like, "Where are your kids going to come home to? Like, aren't you worried about your kids having a home?" I will tell you, much like you said earlier, our relationship with our kids, the 2 years we've traveled, is deeper. It's more loving. It's more understanding. It's more graceful. Because every time we meet them, we're in someplace new for all of us. So nobody's bringing baggage back to the house.
Yep.
Right. And I always tell people, like, when you go home to your parents' house, it's almost like you revert to kid you.
Yes.
Right. Like the emotions, the pecking order. So our oldest daughter is in California right now. We're actually going to move tomorrow and spend a weekend with her in Joshua Tree National Park.
Cool.
And then our son is actually a bus lifer. He's got a schoolie. He's actually got 2 of them. He's building one out and living in one.
So cool.
And then our youngest just bought her van, and she's hitting the road when she's done coaching gymnastics in May. So, but in 2 years, we've been to Costa Rica with them. Florida. Like, they've seen us around the country, and the fact we're all seeing something new is super awesome. And then so many of us as parents tell our kids to take a risk, oh, you can only do this when you're young. Go do it. But what if instead of telling kids what they're to do, we just show them?
Show them. Absolutely.
Show them, right?
Yes. And
that's the one comment we get from our kids all the time is like, Mom, Dad, we're proud of you.
Yeah.
Like, we're proud. Like, when we go tell our other friends' parents what you're doing, they just can't believe it.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably one of the biggest satisfactions, is knowing that our kids look at us and realize, okay, Mom and Dad take risk. They don't need all the answers. They're willing to try things.
Yeah.
Like, I can do it too then. Like, maybe I should try something new. Maybe I don't have to go to college. Maybe I don't have to be so scared.
Yes. Absolutely.
In a world that's fed fear all day, every be afraid of this, be afraid of that. Wait, Mom and Dad are happy. Like, they just showed us 3 new friends they met in the last 2 months.
Yeah.
That are also happy. Like, maybe I can do this. And it doesn't have to be traveling. It just has to be getting out of your own way to find happiness.
Yeah. Oh my God. Like, mic drop. That is the best. I'm so glad you took it there from personal experience, because that is gold. My girls are doing the same thing. They're very they've been very scared, very structured, and they're starting to, with watching us expand out, they're starting to see that the traditional ways outside of normal employment is possible, because they've watched Mom do it through business. They're starting to see that traveling. My daughter actually leaves tomorrow. She's just turned 19. She leaves tomorrow, and she's going on like a 5-day trip with her best friend. And I'm like, oh my God, awesome. And exactly like you said, it doesn't have to be travel, because some people don't love travel. It's fine. That's totally fine. But just be courageous enough to do something that isn't the traditional route if it interests you, because you've got the courage to know that risk equals growth. I mean, it's just, that's all there is to it. And if you're growing, you're getting better, and just keep trying, keep doing. It's mic drop. Perfect.
Yeah. No, I love it.
What would be your last little bit of inspiration for our listeners in terms of finding or aligning with their true purpose before we log out here from somebody that has pivoted numerous times throughout life, who's an author, who's a podcaster, and you get to hear about all these things through podcasting. So I'm sure you've got lots of messages. What would be your last little tidbit of advice before we clock out here for the sake of time?
I would say this. I would say it's your purpose and who you truly are going to become and who you were uniquely put on earth to be and to serve is going to show up in the form of work. So be willing to do it, right? Like we have this idea now. Purpose is such a buzzword, right? Vulnerability, purpose. I need my passion, and we want to sit back and just wait for it to show. It's going to show up in the form of work.
Absolutely.
So be willing to put in work, right? Like work on yourself. Sit and ask yourself, why do I talk to myself so badly?
Yeah.
Why do I say this to I need to work on that.
Yes.
Why am I not loving to my family as much as I want to be? I got to work on that. Why am I miserable with my career? Maybe it's time for a change. Like, it's going to require work.
Yes.
Happiness does not show up under the Christmas tree on December 25th wrapped with a bow. It's daily work.
Yes.
And just like we talked earlier, right? Like, what is my program to be happy? Well, I journal in the morning. I start my day with gratitude. What am I already grateful for before the day begins? What am I grateful for? Because now the traffic jam isn't really that important because I'm grateful I have a car to be in a traffic jam.
Yeah.
I'm grateful I have somewhere I got to be to meet somebody, right? So I think that routine, right? Journaling, meditation, being present with yourself, reading more than you watch TV. That opens up doors. And then be willing to do work on yourself.
Golden. I love that you referred to work as, in my opinion, the number one place you should be putting work in is with yourself. Soul work is way harder. That and being a parent, I think, are the two hardest things in life because it's hard, it's intense, it's emotional. Because most people think that when you say work, it's grinding, hustling, killing yourself for like a job or for whatever. I'm so glad that first and that stuff is important too. But I'm glad that you put working on yourself first as the definition for being willing to do work in order to be happy. Because key, absolutely key. Jerrod, where
100%.
can people find your awesome podcast, which I have listened to some episodes? I'm going to subscribe and I'm going to be following it because it's amazing. We're going to boondock together. But where can they find your podcast? And quickly tell me about your awesome book, Extraordinary People in Ordinary Places, as well.
So the onpurposepodcast.com is the website. We're on all major social media or podcast and social media platforms, so you can follow us there. And then the book, Extraordinary People in Ordinary Places, is out on Amazon. It's no literary genius by any stretch of imagination. It's a random dude just like me. But again, it shows you can do shit too if you want to. Like, I decided I was going to write a book. I wanted to write a book about the important people in my life that were hiding in ordinary places and the role they played to inspire readers to look at, like, wait a second, who's around me? Let's quit looking to politicians and sports stars and all these other people to inspire me. And maybe it's right there. Maybe it's the janitor around the corner. Maybe it's the person at the gas station. And it's just been fun. And that was kind of the segue to the podcast, to keep sharing stories of people that live life with purpose.
Yes, that's beautiful. I think people can relate closer to some normal guy like you. You know, they can listen to these stories of people that maybe they grew up with, they went to school and they're doing extraordinary things. By extraordinary, I mean, they're happy. Like, you're a happy guy. Yeah. You're living with intention.
I enjoy it.
Yeah. Hats off to you. That's amazing.
And if you want to follow along on the travel journeys, we have alternateroads.com.
Okay.
And then we do a weekly blog, and my wife runs all the social media for that on Instagram, and it's a lot of fun. Just sharing more of the travel side and what we do out here.
Perfect. Well, that sounds fabulous. I will have all of this in the show notes for listeners if they want to check you out either on actually they should check you out on all of these sources, but
thank you.
And Jerrod, thank you.
I appreciate it
so much for your time and for your energy. I'm so grateful.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me. Thanks for the work you're doing for the world. Everybody's story is important, and the more stories we get out, the more people we reach.
Amen to that. Thank you.
Thank you.